Hello everybody, my name is Tom Mehrmann. I'm the President and General Manager of Universal Beijing Resort, and I'm coming to you out of Beijing right now. So happy to be addressing all the blooloop followers and all the blooloop participants. I think it's a great forum to share so much about what's coming. You know, the Universal Parks and Resorts history is steeped in story making, filmmaking, and our very, very long 100+ year heritage of movie making, radio, TV, because we are the combination of Comcast, a significant cable company, also Universal Film, over 100 years old, starting in Hollywood, as well as NBC, starting as a radio program and then growing from there over the years. So again, it's a wonderful history that we work upon, and it has allowed us to do an awful lot to produce product that's enjoyable for all ages. Our secret recipe, you probably all know this, but it never hurts to remind everybody, is we do take guests on extraordinary journeys into extraordinary places. We immerse them in incredible stories, stories that lift right out of the books of things like Harry Potter. As an example, we're able to bring home some really wonderful themes and topics and intellectual properties in a very immersive way. We do deliver these as a visceral experience, meaning they kind of give you goosebumps, make your stomach feel a little light when you're enjoying yourself on these attractions. And we think that's a great way to blend both visceral and cerebral experiences that we deliver pretty well throughout all of our parks. And then, of course, we also deliver against very high safety standards and very high service standards. We're very focused on making sure that our guests arrive safe, leave safe, and take with them some of the greatest experiences of their life because of the guest encounters they've had with our team members. And so if we can deliver great service standards, we leave them with great memories, and then they want to come back again and again. Our story, again, many of you may know this, it never hurts to repeat it. From the theme park side of the business, you know, we started selling, I think it was tickets to watch movies be made for about a nickel in the Hollywood Universal lot long, long ago during the silent movie era. And it was that kind of opportunity that lent itself and led to the theme park business, which was obviously the Universal Studio Tour. 1964 it started, and it kept growing and growing. By the time 1990 came along, there was an opportunity to, well, obviously it preceded 1990, but they procured land and began to prepare for the opening of a real destination resort, which we all know now today as Universal's Orlando Resort. And then in 1999, we complemented the Universal Studios portion of the Florida park with Islands of Adventure, which was considered very cutting edge at the time, and even to this day is still really a great experience for guests who come and see it. But that gave us 2 parks in one location in Orlando, and it then led to basically more opportunity. And we opened our first international park in Japan, Osaka, Japan, in 2001. That park has done phenomenally well. And then in 2011, we formed a relationship with Resorts World, Genting. Some of you may know them in different formats, but Resorts World has become their brand, but it's the Genting group out of Malaysia. And we provided the entertainment portion of the integrated resort, which is Universal Studios Singapore. It's a licensing agreement, but it's allowed us again to put a footprint in another part of the world, and certainly in Asia. And then along came 2017, and we introduced our first water park, Volcano Bay. And it really is a fully immersive themed water park that has done very well for us. And then along comes 2021. And I think that's why I'm here talking to you today. It's the future that's ahead of us that we're pretty excited about, as well as what we've established as a legacy. But the legacy informed the future. The future is, in fact, Universal Beijing Resort, opening in 2021. This park in particular, I want to kind of give you an overview of what's happening. It really is going to be spectacular. It will stand out, I think, as kind of the new benchmark for Universal Parks as well. We're in a great location. I think all of us know this from the industry. It's always about location. Being in China, especially being in the capital city of Beijing, we really are extremely well positioned. The government has made a commitment to create a new sub-center for Beijing in a town called Tongzhou, which is to the east of Beijing. Not far either, about 28 kilometers to be precise. And the city is growing around us, but the park will be placed in the subcenter in Tongzhou. As you can see on the map, we're 28 kilometers from the center of the city, Tiananmen Square. Just to the north of us, 27 kilometers, is the Beijing International Airport. Just to the south of us is a brand new international airport, largest in the world, the Daxing Airport. And so it puts us really in a great location. There'll be a rail that will run, a metro rail that will run between the two airports and come straight through our park location. And it doesn't stop there. We have many, many other points of connection as well, both road, rail, as well as any other means you may choose to come by. But being connected by airport, connected by rail, and by general roadways has really given us, I think, a superior positioning in the market. You can see from this slide exactly what's happening. We've got our parking garage, which is linked to the Ring Road 6, as well as to the G1, the Beijing-Harbin Highway. So any guests driving are able to come directly into our parking garage. It'll be the largest parking garage in Beijing. That will feed them directly into City Walk. We have a direct connection to our hub and then directly into City Walk. If guests come by metro, they'll arrive in the subway station that puts them right at the entry to City Walk as well. So our guests literally are delivered to our front door, whether they come by shared ride, by bus, by taxi, or by metro. And then they're into City Walk. I think really one of our very best of all of our offerings when it comes to our retail, dining, entertainment in the City Walk environment. We're bringing some of the best brands of Universal that many of you know from Florida, as well as pairing them with some great tenants within the market. But first ever one-of-a-kind experiences in the City Walk area. That leads you then to two spectacular hotels, which will also be on the perimeter of the park. The one that frames our park and the grand reveal for the park is the Universal Grand Hotel. Just after you pass the Universal Globe, you cross the resort waterway, it all unfolds in front of you. This beautiful Spanish architecture of the Universal Grand Hotel, kind of a revival of California Spanish architecture of the 30s and 40s. And then just slightly south of that, also connected to City Walk and the resort, is the Nuo Resort Hotel, which is the first Chinese-themed hotel. So both hotels have their own unique theme, Universal Grand being really themed around Universal and Hollywood intellectual properties that we have. And then the Nuo Hotel will be very specific to Chinese culture, the Ming and Qing dynasties blended together in a very peaceful spa-like setting, but still connected to all the family fun of the resort. As we open the curtain on what's next, what's happening in the park, well, you can see our key visual. It has a lot of the great icons that we're building the park around, and I think you all recognize each of those icons. But let me take you on a little tour. Our park is divided in 7 different lands, and we'll start with Hollywood. That's where everybody will enter. Hollywood Boulevard will be covered, not enclosed, but covered, which gives us protection away from whether it's the extreme cold or extreme heat, as well as rain or snow. Again, it's just going to be a very nice environment. You've seen it before at our Osaka park. You've seen it at the Singapore park. But this roof over the street will just give it a nice arrival statement, especially after you come out from under the Universal Grand Hotel. So it all gets revealed in front of you. Hollywood Boulevard will be a great mix of intellectual properties and iconic attractions. As you come in and let's just follow the numbers around, you head north, you'll go into Transformers Base. Transformers Base is really an area celebrating the Transformers characters, which have been in China since the 80s. I think it's one of the most mature markets for the Transformers, and they're still very, very popular here. And we've got a lot of your favorite attractions and some new ones built around the Transformers. The next area is Kung Fu Panda, Land of Awesomeness. This is an entirely enclosed indoor facility. It can hold up to 8,500 people. There'll be rides, attractions, shows. There'll also be a lot of great food in here. But it gives us a chance to give our guests a way to get out of the heat or the cold and take care of what we know will be a very seasonal market In fact, 65% of all of our entertainment capacity is covered in the park, which gives a lot of opportunity and latitude for how we're going to run the park. The next area would be Jurassic World. I think everyone knows the movies and knows the stories, and I think we've outdone ourselves this time with this particular execution. It's really going to be fantastic with some brand new things you've never seen before in a Universal Park, all playing out in Jurassic World and framed by a great volcano that's right on the edge of the lagoon. But it's going to be exciting, it's going to be powerful, and I think it's going to again set the standard for what we do next. The fifth themed area is Waterworld, and many viewers may know Waterworld, the movie, and many of you obviously will know the show since I'm talking to industry professionals. But this show has just been a family favorite. It has been our most favorite show, both by guest response and by attendance. And we want to do it again here in Beijing. And so we're pretty excited. We've actually turned this into an area which has a restaurant, a gathering space, as well as the show. And so you'll be hearing more about that. The next area would be the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Is magical, mystical, and we're just going to take the great success formula we've had at all of our other parks that have introduced it, and we're bringing it here as well. And we think our guests are really going to enjoy this. It seems as if this particular intellectual property has had real popularity in the country. And so we're excited by the contemporary and the exciting intellectual properties we've got, which kind of brings me to the last themed area, which is the Minion Land. And I think, again, I think the team in Universal Creative and Universal Parks and Resorts has done a fabulous job executing the intellectual properties in a way that makes them immersive, makes them visceral, makes them just something you've got to take photos of, share with your family. I think word of mouth will be extremely strong on everything about this park and resort. And these themed lands, I think, are going to be just absolutely the topper of everything else you've experienced coming in. And then, of course, as our guests leave, they'll be going right back through City Walk again. So we get a chance for our guests to see City Walk upon arrival and upon departure. And of course, if guests are staying in the hotels, they can enjoy an evening on City Walk or in the park if they'd like. I've got a video to share with you, and this will just give you just a sense of the construction and work that's going on.
北京环球度假区项目秉承着先进的管理和建设标准，
环球度假区将为北京、通州带来又一片绿色。
I'm working with top-notch quality artisans, and we can't wait to share our park with you.
会有越来越多的通州人来到这里工作，通州的发展有我的一份力。
2021年
2021年
2021年，北京环球度假区见。
Well, as you heard, coming in 2021, we've got Universal Beijing Resort. And again, I can tell you the excitement is palpable here. Some of the things you saw in that video were extreme efforts we're taking to ensure that we're green, that we're environmentally conscious and sustainable. And in fact, we're putting as much effort as we can into even ensuring we get LEED certification, which I think will be the very first theme park ever LEED certified. But the intent is to continue to push the limits of what we can do in this community. We've found an unbelievable partner in Beijing Tourism Group, and it's allowing us to do some pretty phenomenal things here in Beijing. Even with COVID, we've been able to stay on schedule, on budget, and essentially delivering what I think will be a superior quality park for everybody who comes to enjoy it. So, with that, what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about our guest journey. You know, when our guests come, they're going to be able to experience something that has been well thought out from pre-visit to post-visit. And everything you see along this journey map that's in front of you is ticketing, which will be done before they arrive. All of our guests will be pre-registered. They'll also register their face through government ID or passport. If they choose not to do that, they can simply come and tap to enter the park with registration upon arrival. But essentially what happens is every detail has not been overlooked. Every detail has been considered in terms of how our guests will arrive, what they'll see, what they'll encounter, and how that experience will play out along the course of their day, whether it's the attractions, the admission experience, the team member experiences they have, the service level they'll have, everything from the many programs that we're developing in the social media network of China to basically the social commentary that they'll be able to share and receive, as well as the push communication we can put out relative to where we want them to go or what we'd like them to see, or if we know we can distribute the attendance in different ways, we can push communication out. But the apps will be the best you've seen. The navigational tools will be the best you've seen. Everything that we're doing is meant to make it a superior guest experience, as well as a superior team member experience for all the team members that are working here. So the attractions are going to be executed, as you know, through Universal Parks and Resorts, but it's the software that's going to drive the hardware. It's the incredible team members that will drive the experience, create the memories for the guests, allow for the digital interface, and then ultimately build loyalty for guests to come back again and again and again. Now, I want to share with you a few more things as well. So the economic benefits of a theme park, again, I know I'm preaching to the audience, all of our blooloop fans and blooloop participants. You probably speak these words as much as I do, but we all know that it helps the industry. We also know that it builds partnership. But let's put them all in here. So the economy is helped, the employees are helped, education and community. So many of you know that the industry grows every time a new park is introduced, and we think it's going to really be great for China to watch the industry grow with a new destination travel location where guests can come and stay and play and get a brand new experience in China. Education, we can build capacity. There's a lot of capacity building happening already during development, and we're building skill sets and capabilities in the community that can become lifelong skills and abilities for people to continue their businesses outside of Universal. The economy, we all know that a theme park in a market can mean anything from 10 to 15 times annual income to the surrounding community. This park will be no different. This resort will be no different. Our community, we've always believed in giving back to the community, and we do an awful lot for CSR, corporate social responsibility. Just recently, we had a really wonderful opportunity to participate in NBC Cares Day. We raised money, and that money allowed us to buy backpacks and fill the backpacks with all sorts of goodies, and we delivered those to the Federation for People with Disabilities in Tongzhou, the city that we're in. And it was a really wonderful way to tell the community that we're here for them and that we want to work with them. And as I like to say, it allows us to be not only generous but genuine. And I think that's the key to really good CSR, is be genuine as well as generous. Our employees, I couldn't be more proud of the team that we're assembling here in Beijing. I happen to spend a lot of time with the group in off-hours activities as well as in the park. I spend time on third shift going after midnight to see how the development's going, as well as early morning shifts. And I can tell you the team members we've got, they may not be coming with industry experience, but like I said, software drives the hardware. If their heart is good, their attitude is good, their focus on the future is everything we're looking for, if they embrace our vision, mission, and values, then the team members are going to deliver and lead the way for all of our guests. And so I'm very proud of what we're assembling. And then, of course, partnership. You've heard me talk about that already, but our Beijing Tourism Group partnership here in China has been, I think, what makes our project work. I often say when I'm out in public that great projects are driven by great partnerships, and I think our partnership with BTG certainly showcases that. It allows us to take our park to a new level with great in-country support. I want to share another video with you now as well. It's going to give you a chance to kind of go through the park with some celebrities you might recognize and some intellectual properties you may recognize, but I think this will tell the story better than I can, so please enjoy.
当然，有你的信哦。
谢谢。我被邀请了。梅阿仔，我寻龙高手的朋友，你怎么会在这儿啊？ 梅阿仔，你去哪儿啊？哎，等一下！哎，梅阿仔，等一下！梅阿仔， 梅阳伞。
嗨，浩然。
嗨，
你好，我是明朗，北京环球度假区的贵宾游览向导。你收到我们的邀请信了吗？
这个
是的，让我用电影的魔法带你穿越到未来的北京环球度假区，先睹为快吧。
谢谢。
你准备好了吗？梅尔仔知道路，一起飞吧。
等一下，飞？
欢迎来到北京环球度假区，在这里你可以在7大主题园区享受身临其境般的游乐体验。我们的第一站，来自梦工厂的功夫熊猫盖世之地，这是全世界第一个功夫熊猫主题园区。你将见到功夫熊猫中最令人喜爱的角色，还可以偷师各种功夫绝招。
我准备好了。
我也准备好了。是时候和我最喜欢的熊猫一起练功夫了。阿宝，阿宝，
我们去下一站吧。
特工们，我是特工李冰冰，同时也是你们与汽车人之间的联络人和盟友之一。变形金刚基地是巢穴部队的北京总部，也是绝密的超高能科技区。在这里，汽车人和人类将携手对抗邪恶的大天府。
人类，你们处于危险之中。
特工们，我们将一直与擎天柱同在，你们准备好了吗？
我们需要你们的帮助，来共同保卫地球。
擎天柱，我准备好了。
下一站，快来小黄人乐园和神偷奶爸的影迷们一起玩耍吧！照明娱乐创造了很多有趣的小黄人角色，鲍勃、斯图尔特、凯文，他们搅得世界不得安宁。
调皮的冒险即将开始了。天哪，到处都是小黄人。
欢迎来到哈利波特的魔法世界，踏上巫师村的神奇之旅，探索霍格沃茨魔法学校。
魔杖就绪。Expecto Patronum！ 我准备好体验魔法世界了。
走进侏罗纪世界努布拉岛，这里的设计灵感源自卖座影片《侏罗纪世界》，你将直面令人望而生畏的巨型恐龙，亲身体验一场6500万年前史诗般的冒险之旅。下一站，好莱坞。你将化身大明星，尽享流光溢彩，体验灯光、摄像、开拍的仿真拍摄实况。
等等，那是斯皮尔伯格和张艺谋导演吗？
When we decided to build Universal Beijing, I just felt that I would only want to do this project together with Emo.
全世界最大的一个环球影城在北京就要马上开始了，这是一个中美文化的一个结合，非常令人期待。
穿越令人目不暇接的主题园区。尽享融入多种中国元素的惊险刺激和沉浸感受，体验来自全世界超高人气的骑乘和游乐设施。一切精彩尽在北京环球度假区。
北京环球度假区将于2021年盛大开幕，我已经等不及要带你们一起去冒险了。
北京环球度假区，我们2021见。
I hope you enjoyed that. I really think that that video tells very well what's coming, what's here, what's coming. I really like the fact that we've got some local stars. Turbo Lou, the host who took you through the park, he's a really popular local star who we're very fortunate to have been working with us, and he's the voice for How to Train Your Dragon, essentially not Toothless, but the other hero in the story. And then you also had Li Bingbing, and you might recall she was in, I think it was Transformers 5, and it had a lot of Chinese content to it, which fits where we are. And then, of course, if you don't know him, Zhang Yimou is probably the world's greatest director next to Steven Spielberg. So to have both Steven Spielberg and Zhang Yimou, great storytellers, great directors, famous in their own right, work together to tell you about a movie making magic moment that you can experience as a guest, we think that's pretty special. So again, you got a great chance to see the park, and of course the image that's on your screen now is that production shot of everything happening at the same time in a fully built out resort. Our resort is just starting. We're only in phase 1, and we're very excited by what's coming because there's obviously more parks, more hotels in the future, and I'm sure we'll be announcing those in due course. But right now, it's about getting phase 1 open and introducing Universal Beijing Resort to China and the world. So with all that, I'd like to just say thank you very much for allowing me to share some of our resort with you.